bienvenue, welcome one and all to another one of my live streams. I'm very pleased to have in the virtual studio Sally Inkster of Find Brand You. And we've talked about personal brand a number of times, but some of the most important ways that you get people to latch onto what your personal brand represents and who you are is you telling stories. Sally, tell me more.
Okay, so your stories are everything about your personal brand because it's how you put yourself across.
Right.
And I think sometimes we get really, really stuck up about these stories because you don't want to be too vulnerable. You don't want to say all the bad things that happen to you. It makes you feel bad enough without telling the whole world about it. And people get very hung up on what stories to tell. And then if they sort that one out, how they tell them. And if they sort that out, you know, what's the point of them? So there's a lot of issues around stories, I think.
Yes, and tend to find people focus sometimes on the wrong ones that don't necessarily make the point you're trying to make.
Exactly. Yeah. And how do you decide which ones it is? It is a bit of a minefield, but it is part of your personal brand, and it's an extremely important part of your personal brand.
Do you know
as
what I was thinking?
All the parts.
What I was thinking might be really good, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot. And Sally is unprepared for this question.
Yeah,
why don't you tell us your brand story as an example?
My brand story, as it be told. Okay. So, right. I will give you my brand story.
Well, no, I know it's a very long story. It's a really good story, but it's longer than we've got. So what I would like you to break it down into the points that really capture the imagination, or the one that gets you.
Okay. All right. So all you have to do is picture a child with relatively low self-esteem, but after a lot of hard work, she got her GCSEs and got into nursing.
Woohoo!
Absolutely loved her nursing, and was promoted to ward sister really quite early. Confidence boost. She then became ward sister and then a nurse specialist. Another confidence boost. Over that time, there were various dips, but good confidence boost, good self-esteem. She then got married, had 3 girls, another good confidence thing, great. But you do lose your identity a bit becoming a mother when you're not doing anything else. You forget who you were. When I was a ward sister, I was in charge. Now I have 3 kids. It's sort of, oh my God. Anyway, moved all over the country, various bits of the world. And then if my children watch this, they'll get cross, but I got bored of bringing up children. So I became a stylist. And I was a stylist for 12 years, which I loved. It helped women again. It helped them feel better about themselves, a bit like nursing did. They didn't feel great. You do something to them, they feel better.
So this is colour theory. This is how to wear, what goes with what, etc., etc.
Yeah, again, all about self-esteem, confidence in what you're wearing, confidence in how you look, and how to make the best of what you've got, which is all any of us can ever do. And how to do that easily without stressing about it, and how to get the balance in life. You know, you don't want to spend your life worrying about clothes. You want to be able to walk to your wardrobe, put something on, and it feels good. That is not as easy as it sounds. So I did that for 15 years, and then my youngest went off to university, and I didn't want to go back into nursing, but I wanted to use the skills I had. I didn't want to carry on styling. I wanted to use the skills that I'd learnt. I wanted to put them together and help people, or help women and men, to create better businesses based on them, not based on what they thought they should do, but based on working in their talents, so that it was easy.
All right, and all this process of getting to where you are now, have you changed your mind about what you thought people should or shouldn't do, or how they should or shouldn't approach things? Have there been any sea changes?
No, not really. I mean, everything I have done has, what's the word, happened by sort of automatically, just been a progress.
Oh, I see.
Design.
Okay.
Yes. So it has not, I didn't design it, but it's just gone from one to the next to the next. And it's just inexorably
morphed into the next portion of it. And would you say that you could have predicted the way this was going to go, or has it's been quite, if you look back,
Well,
it's been
hindsight's a very good thing, isn't it?
a wonderful.
Could I have predicted it? No. But if I'd looked at what I was good at right at the beginning of my career, I can see that I'm still good at those things and still using those things. It's like when you look at a toddler, and when somebody's a toddler, you go, I have no idea what adult they're going to be. When they're the adult, you think, well, actually, they haven't changed. And I can see absolutely that toddler is now that adult.
Right.
Yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What would you say has been the most impactful lesson that you've learned along that path?
To trust my gut.
Right. We've talked
Definitely.
about guts and trusting them before.
We have talked about guts. But I know, even back in my nursing career, you would go to a patient and something in your gut would go, there's something wrong there. That's not right. They're not looking right. Wrong color. They don't smell right. Your gut would go, something's not right, before your head would go, well, it's not this, that, the other, and your brain would work it out, but your gut told you first. It was the same in styling. Your gut knows what you should wear. And bringing up children, your gut knows what you should do. Personal brand, it's learning to trust your gut again, or remembering what your gut tells you. But that, again, it's not that easy. And
so,
time.
There are many people, I think, that feel unsure about how they present themselves to the world. They haven't yet worked out not so much who they are, but how they want to be seen. And I think those are two different things.
Yeah, they are. The thing is, I say to people that your history and who you are, you can put into a store cupboard. So if you imagine a kitchen. Have we talked about this kitchen before?
No, I would love to learn about this kitchen. Please
okay,
do.
Learn about my kitchen. Okay. I like cooking sometimes, but I like the idea of cooking more. Okay, so you have in your kitchen, you have a store cupboard, okay, and you've got various ingredients in that store cupboard, and you decide you are going to make a cake. Okay, so out of that cupboard, you will take particular things to make a beautiful cake. Then the next day, you'll decide you're going to make a chicken goulash. Why did I say chicken goulash? You would take different ingredients out of your cupboard to put into the goulash to make it the best goulash you could.
Right.
Yeah. So when you are trying to attract your clients to come to you for a particular reason, you choose the things out of your store cupboard, the ingredients that you have, to make a beautiful cake, goulash, whatever, paella, for them to sample. But what you don't do is chuck everything that's in the store cupboard at them and sort of throw it all in a bowl and mix it up. Because if you did that, it would basically, well, chemistry comes into it. Great book if anybody's read it, Lessons in Chemistry. But that's by the by.
The point you're trying to make is every time you're trying to present yourself, you need to almost be mindful of the audience you're presenting yourself to, right?
Do you know, you've just said that very clearly in one sentence that took me a whole story to tell you. But you got my story. But yes, so you did understand my story.
Yeah. But the point about it is what you've arrived at is a series of epiphanies, both about yourself and about the client base you wanted. And the first epiphany I got was you wanted to use the combined top skills, the ones that you valued most highly, that you got from both nursing and styling and bringing up children, some of which is about listening to what they want, and others about helping them create their suit of armor to be proportionate and relevant to the situation they found themselves in and the audience they were presented with. Yeah,
but also it's their armor. They haven't borrowed it, they haven't invented it. It's things that is in their store cupboard.
Absolutely. It's stuff they own that are relevant to them. But as you say, you wouldn't shove the chicken in the cake. Unless I've
No.
never had a chicken cake. Uh, but
Mm.
I conceivably one wouldn't necessarily go in the other. In the same way as you wouldn't turn up to a very official conference wearing jeans and an open polo shirt. It probably wouldn't be appropriate. It's my mother always said that if you can remember two things in your entire adult life, it's appropriateness and timing. And you need to know what's relevant to the situation you find yourself in. And realize less and less these days one is required to wear jackets, ties, and suits and the rest of it. But by the
Yeah,
same token, there are smarter, less smart, relaxed, less relaxed, and also important than that, color theory. Now, I'm very fascinated by color theory, but you can really influence the way people think about you just by the color set you wear. Am I right?
absolutely. And you can make them feel better, and you can make yourself feel better because they're like vitamins, colours. Yeah.
But
So they can come into your story as well. And so, really, telling a story is about making something beautiful to listen to. So if you look at a picture, you want it to look colourful and lovely if that's what you're after. Some people just want black and white. But so you have to decide whether your audience is somebody who loves colour and interpretation, or whether they just like monochrome black and white.
this is
Because
this
you
actually
will
arises
present,
this
you'll
arises
present
an interesting question actually, which is, are you presenting this for everybody, or are you only presenting it for those, for instance, clients that you want to work with? And I suspect those clients that you want to work with will follow a descriptor, which means that you only want to present that same face to
yeah,
them. Am
yeah.
I making any sense there?
You're making total sense, because on the whole, most, especially service providers, I feel, and again, especially women, but I think men as well, you're trying to serve people who, to a certain extent, are like you. And you're trying to help them because you've already been through what you know they are going through.
Yes,
And
it is that knowledge.
then
It
you
is
want
that
them to.
knowledge that colours it, doesn't it? No pun
Yeah.
intended. But yes, uh, and I suspect, and forgive me for talking for you, but part of your role would be to almost disseminate from them um, what they're trying to achieve, who they're trying to attract, and that way you can best help them get their brand so that it attracts those people.
Exactly. But sometimes they don't know themselves. And it's not until they've delved really quite deeply into their self awareness and into their stories that have shaped them over the years to go, oh, wow, it's those people I'm trying to talk to. And you go, ah, and they go, I wouldn't have worked. There was no way I could have come to that conclusion. And unless we had done this work that we've done, that has identified that to me. I now know it very clearly. That's where my clarity is. That's who I'm talking to. That all now makes sense.
So the purpose of these live streams is
Yeah,
to explain to people that we're not necessarily talking about you. We're asking them to live this vicariously through your experience of finding your brand, and then leveraging the way in which you represent yourself so that
yeah.
it attracts the right people. They could be doing this just as well. I'm like,
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing anything that other people haven't done. What I've done is put it into a system that helps people identify all that extremely quickly. Because for me, it's taken me, well, I started nursing at the age of 18, and now I'm blah, 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 X number of years on. So
now
that's taken me a
you're
long time.
more years. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's taken me a long time to
Yes.
really get clarity around it. Whereas when I work with people, they don't have to go through all that because I can help them get that clarity extremely quickly.
So you're about short circuiting this. You're trying to I suppose you're leveraging your years of uncertainty and then discovery so they don't have to go quite so much through that shit, if I can say so.
Yeah. It's a bit like they decided to go to Australia from the UK. They could get on a slow boat from Southampton and chug all the way to Australia, and it would take them, what, 12 weeks? 6 to 12 weeks?
I was going to say that's a lot of weeks. Yes, right.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I've invented Concorde for them to take off in Manchester or Heathrow and arrive in Melbourne or Sydney or Perth or wherever they want to go.
I've got to say, as usual, these talks are elucidating for me, and I hope for everyone listening. Guys, if you're looking to find the way in which you can leverage your brand so that it meshes with your target audience, that it makes them understand why you do what you do and why you should do it with them, then I suspect you should take some time out and speak to Sally Inkster. Sally Inkster is sallyinkster.com, and she has excellent tips and tricks to help you get along your way. And if you take up sessions with her, very shortly you'll be not just palatable to a small number, but a great number of people who will be wanting to use your services. Sally, many thanks for taking the time out to talk to me today. Always a learning day. No, and that's a pleasure. And I would say I wish all of you, of course, to have a marvelous week, one of those short weeks, plenty to be done, and of course, wonderful mental health. Bye-bye now.
Take care.